sounds good.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to another Power Pack week where I can't believe, Roger, we're already a third of the way through September. Like, what happens to time? It goes so fast.
Literally, I couldn't agree more. I'm like, what? September 10th?
Yeah. And we have something special on September 10th. Something special tonight, don't we?
Yes, we do. Who else knows what's going on tonight? Hope you guys know. Hope you know. Hope you've got it blocked on your calendar. Hope you've got 10 people you're bringing. We got
PBO Kristen Boss.
PBO with Kristen Boss. You guys,
That's right. Doesn't get any
pretty
better
awesome.
than that.
Pretty awesome. That is the, yep, I see it in your chat there. That is pretty awesome. It really is, Kristen. We're just honored that you have, chosen to, to validate us and our company and what we're doing with your presence on those PBOs and your advocacy for, the vision and your belief in what we're building and your belief in how exciting it is for those who have the opportunity to get involved right now with this. I love how you've said before, it's like ground floor opportunity with an established company. 10 years in, 10-year anniversary, record growth for 10 consecutive years, and yet still basically a brand new concept that most people on the planet haven't ever heard of before. So much opportunity for growth, and it's just awesome that you have been willing to take your time and your reputation and put a stake in the ground and say, this is something you guys ought to come check out. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm excited for you guys. There's a lot of good stuff going on.
Well, before we pass it over to Kristen, I do just want to comment for all of you guys, just how proud and how pleased all of us are at the home office. We talk about you guys every single week, multiple times a week. And this group is your commitment to work full time and to do it for 90 days and to show up and be on this Zoom and do the work during the week and report on it, and all that you guys are doing is outstanding. And I just wanted you guys to know that literally at the home office, we talk about you guys multiple times a week, and anything that we can do to empower you, to help you to have success, to help you have stamina, to help you, have perseverance, to keep going, to eliminate any roadblocks that we can. We're all ears. So if there's something that is, concerning or holding you back, we want to know about it, and we want to help in any way that we can, because we're all just super proud of you guys and honor that commitment that you've made to yourself and that you made to me to work full time for 90 days. And I'm just I couldn't be more happy for you guys. So all good stuff. With that, I mean, I know we've got the results on the dashboard you guys can look at and kind of digest yourselves. It looks like there's really good consistency at reporting the metrics, and gives everybody a chance to have a little paper trail so you can go back and see where you've been and where you're going. And it also helps us to kind of see from the bird's eye perspective how that's working for everybody. So thank you for taking time to do that. Thank you for being on. Thank you for everybody who can to share their screen. I know a few people can't, and that's okay. But if you are in a position to be able to share your video today, we always appreciate the interaction. And with that, Kristen, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, can't wait. All right, cool. So I was actually just looking at what you're reporting, and one thing I noticed that stood out to me immediately was that there was an increase in consistency with you guys doing your 5 to 7 stories a day. So massive congrats to that on you. Way to go for implementing. Remember, we're just starting the habit. We aim for quantity first, and then we get better with like our quality improves as we continue to implement. A lot of times we expect to be high quality right off the bat, but you have to be willing to put out low quality in mass quantity in order to be good at quality later. So just a huge shout out to you guys for that. What I'm curious is I would love for you to share in the comments. This is going to be a lot more, I'm going to be less teaching less slides today because at this point, you guys have the concepts. It's now a matter of rinse and repeat, and we keep compounding. So what I would like to do is a couple things is one, I would like for you to share a win in the last week that you are most proud of. Share in the comments, because again, I think it's always important to celebrate like something that you have achieved, a measure of progress. And then second, beyond that, what we're going to do is I want to open up the floor to address essentially roadblocks in each category for any of you. So, for example, if last PBO you got into three-way conversations, or there was an objection that you were unable to go over, or you noticed like I got people there, but the conversations after were frustrating, I want to cover that so you feel confident in tonight. So someone signed up as a pet. So Joey, is it Joy or Joey? Had someone sign up as a pet pro from a TikTok that only been up for 30 minutes. That's amazing.
It's
Amy
Joey.
enrolled. Joey, thank you. Amy enrolled 4 new pet pros. Amazing. Amy, where are you at? Well done. Amy, I'm going to ask you a question because sometimes when I'm coaching, we often focus on, it's easy to focus on the problems and me fixing the problems. But Amy, if you could share one takeaway of what you think created that result with the group.
It is following up immediately. They told me they were interested. I sent them your PBO that you and Amy did. Then I gave them like a day or two, and then I followed up with them. And I got the ones who were interested. They signed up. I mean, easy.
Amazing. And are they coming to the PBO tonight?
Hopefully, yes.
Okay, awesome. And kind of remember what I was saying last week, guys, like find incentives to bring them there. Like, hey, like if 4 of you are coming, I'm going to, for each of you that show up live, I'll cover your shipping or I'll put you in a raffle, something to kind of encourage them to be there. But Amy, well done. I love that you said a quick follow-up, sharing the PBO. And for follow-up, when you did a couple days, did you arrange a like, hey, I'm going to follow up with you at this time. Are you available then? Was it a pretty concise thing? Just for any of our friends here.
Yes. So once they signed up, are you talking about the ones who signed up
Yep.
or the ones who
Yep.
okay.
Or the ones who were interested that didn't sign up yet? You said you gave them a couple days. And I want our friends who heard that to be like, well, what does that look like? Did you set up a time to follow up? What worked?
I actually thought about setting a time to follow up, but this time I didn't because I thought I would just give another week or so. But today, the ones that I did follow up and they didn't respond, I'm going to send more information about the live you're doing tonight and invite them again. But I really didn't set a certain day or time. The ones that did sign up, though, I did ask them, I would love to meet with you so we can plan your goals.
Well done.
Could we do it today or tomorrow? So
perfect. Yep. So timing is everything, guys, just not waiting. And it's, I try, don't let anything go longer than 24 hours. So if somebody says, let me think about it, this is so key. You don't be like, all right, well, I'll get back to you. You think about it. What you actually need to say is, okay, great. While you're thinking about it, is there any questions I may have missed? Anything that you're wondering? Give them another chance to ask a question and they'll be like, okay, this is what I need to think about. Cool. Totally get it. How about I follow up with you tomorrow around the same time and see if there's any questions that come up between now and then, and we can help you decide if this is a good fit and get you started. So what you're doing is, I find I talked about this earlier. I'm not sure if it was last week or the week before, where your follow-up is really your follow through. So especially when you set up a time, you're respecting their time and saying, hey, how about I chat with you at this time, and you follow through on that. That way it's for any of you that are like, I'm bugging them. What if I'm annoying them? No. You're just following through on what you said you were going to do. So it takes away the awkward in your follow-up. I will say getting people to the PBOs becomes a follow-up game, not just like the follow-up in, hey, I would love to see you there. I'm so excited to have you there. It's going to be, and again, you want to tell them how long it's going to be. It's going to be no more than 30 minutes. We're making sure it's valuable for you, answers your questions, and I'm going to make myself available to answer any of your questions so that if you're ready to get started, I'm right there to help you so that there's no confusion. Clear communication is kind communication. So just be sure that you are, tell them what they need to know and reiterate how excited you are to have them there. It becomes a lot harder for people to turn you down or come up with an excuse when you say, I'm so excited you're coming. I'm so excited for you to hear about this opportunity and see how it's a good fit for you. And I also, guys, want you to, tonight during the PBO, when you were there, continue to invite your team to the PBO. So whoever didn't make it to the last one, say, hey guys, the last one was really exceptional. You need to come to this one. I want to invite you to come, catch vision, see what we're about, where we're going. In the comments, don't be afraid to talk about that your company is in momentum. People want to join something that's going somewhere. So just say like, we've been growing in just the last few weeks, which you guys have. You guys have a lot of excitement in the field. People want to be a part of something exciting. So it's important you bring energy and excitement to the chat tonight. And again, your validation of like, yes, it pays for this. It pays for, my pet care. It pays for my mortgage. It pays for these things. Like, so thankful for this opportunity. I wish I'd known sooner. That type of third-party validation. Amy, thanks for letting me ask you clarifying questions. All right, I'm going to look through a couple more of these wins. Yes, the louder milk said, we found that a quick response to those that have expressed interest is key. Yeah, don't let that sit, friends. I think this is good. Brittany, I actually want to cover this idea of like the $0 option is kind of hurting as much as it's helping. I think I talked about this last week, how you don't lead with the $0. And I think even tonight, Amy Johnson, where are you at? I think what will really make the focus is on like the value of the starter pack and like speaking as a business startup. Because somebody that's doing a business startup, nobody thinks free with a business startup. So from there, I would just say in every, you don't want your conversations to be like, and it's free to start. And it's free to start because you're right. You are devaluing the startup, the intentions of the business owner and be like, hey, here's what I've noticed. The people who are most successful are the people who start with this kit. They're most excited. They find the most value in the product and they're most hungry to get their business off the ground. Statistically, this is what we see. This is where people go. I think Amy will kind of hunker down on that on the PBO tonight as well. Just like, hey, this is like where we've noticed the average person does this. You want someone to think that the $0 startup is not what, it's not normal. It's not expected. If anything, Amy, I might have a little powwow with you afterwards, and we might talk about our language a little bit on that. But I would just say lead with the investment, lead with a business startup. If you have a conversation about business startup, you're going to have people are going to lean in and the conversation looks different and there's less resistance to putting money down as the investment. So yes. So the louder milk say we share with prospect, this is what we did. We came in with the ultimate product pack and share like how it sets you up for the most success. And again, we want to say on average, the people who are most successful start here because it gives them excitement, enthusiasm, skin in the game, and they see themselves as a business owner. And people who see themselves as a business owner have a better start. Don't be afraid to say those things. So good, Amy. Yeah, you start with the product packs. All right. Kathleen said you sponsored Forward with a Kit in August. Following up consistently is building the relationship and gets me closer to them enrolling. Good. Let's see here. Yes, Krista, way to get to an actual event. You went to a dog show, passed out treats. I hope with every treat you got a contact and made a friend on Facebook and got their information. Where are you at, Krista? Unmute yourself. I want to hear about this. Krista, hi.
I'm
Good
here.
job. Way to shake hands and meet people, hand out treats. Tell me about what you did when you handed the treat. Did they get your contact information? Did you connect with them?
So I actually know most of them
Okay.
because we show dogs. It's what we do.
Yeah.
And so people are in the ring, they run out of bait and they just ask people ringside, who's got bait? I need bait. I need bait. And of course I'm there with my bag of paw treats and I'm like, got bait, here you go. And I'm
Yeah.
just passing it out. And then they're like, my dog loved that. What was that?
Yeah. Krista, do
So
you have an online presence? Do you have like a Facebook like presence or anything like that?
it's a work in progress because I was never very big on social media. So it's
Okay.
a new
But we're starting.
yes. Yes.
All right, cool. Well, this is what I would encourage you to do is if you know them all personally, are you friends with them on Facebook?
Most of them. Yes. Yes.
Perfect. So what I would encourage you to do is just continue the conversations outside of the dog shows. Like, don't be afraid to message them immediately at the dog show and be like, after the dog show, and be like, it was so great to connect with you. I always love seeing you. I know your dog loved that bait. Here's the link for you to look at it more. Hey, I think it's really important when we rely too much on in-person, especially if our in-person contacts can be sporadic, because how often do you see them, Krista?
Sometimes weekly, monthly. It just
Okay.
depends on me. I'll see most of them again this weekend.
Perfect. I want you to think about how you can bridge. It sounds like you already have relationship with them. I'm wondering if it's just time for you to say, hey, you've seen me with this. You asked about this. Your dog's like this. I'm thrilled. Do you want to learn more about what I do? I'd love to share it with you. The worst they say is no. But I will say one of the major benefits, the worst they say is no, not right now. But the benefit to guys having a social media presence and not just relying on your in-person contacts is they see you in person. And then when they're online, they see your posting. So it's like this continued conversation that's happening where they see your posts, they're reading about it, and they feel like they're opting into the conversation. They're kind of looking at it. And what happens is as you continue to see them in person, they eventually bring up the posts they're seeing and be like, hey, I read this thing about this nutrition. I had no idea that your treats actually did these things or had these ingredients. So this is why like in person and socials, like they complement one another really well. So if you guys are, and so Krista, well done to you. I want to encourage you to do that.
One thing I've been doing more of, especially when I'm at these dog shows, because oftentimes it's my husband that's taking my daughter and I'm not there. So when I'm there, what I'm doing is because I know a lot of these people, like we're not personal friends outside of the dog shows per se. We just have that common ground.
Mhm.
So I've been digging into their Facebook pages mostly
Good.
and engaging more with their content because I may not see it normally, so they're not seeing
Yes.
mine either.
Well
So
done.
I've been doing more of that.
Well done. And then making sure that you're talking about pottery in your stories and on your posts so that, because if you're engaging, but you're not talking about it, then it's like they're just seeing whatever you post. That's not that. So that's amazing. Well done. So good. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I want to see, Kristen sponsored 3 Pet Pros last week. Amazing. So guys, I'm noticing like some solid enrollments that you guys have going on. And, oh my goodness, Elka, you had 3 newbies in September. I had a lady who reached out through a reel. She signed up. Amazing. All right, so good. So what I want to say is like, first of all, I'm really proud of you guys. This is all like a product of you putting in the work. It's not a coincidence when someone reaches out to you. It's not, and I want to say like, Elka, when you said, I think it was you that said about the reel, someone signed up from that reel. It's important that you know it wasn't that one reel that signed them up. It was all your engagement to boost the algorithm. It was you practicing and staying in the habit and getting better so that every reel you post improves. So it was like that reel might have been the tipping point that got them over into the decision to reach out to you, but all of your behaviors leading up to that is what created that customer. So well freaking done. So good. All right, I'm going to see what else we got. All right. I think this is good. Someone just said, Brittany, this is really good. You said you don't lead with the $0 free start. They just see it and go that way. This is why I find it helpful to not have them sign up and leave them to their own devices. Because if you just give them the link, they're going to see the $0 option and be like, oh, I'll just do that instead of be in the enrollment process with them because you're not, if with a customer, sure, tell them what they want. They do the pet profile, right? And then they figure out their recommendations and then they buy. But when you are signing up a business builder, I want you to say, hey, give me 5 minutes. I'm going to help you go through the enrollment process. Help them already say yes to the starter pack. Like, hey, here's what the highest value is. Here's where we get to start. What do you say to that? Get them to agree. And then you say, all right, let's head to the site. I'm going to be with you right now while we do that. Okay, go to that, click that. So you're not even like, so that you're now helping them follow through on what they already said yes to with you with the product pack. So this is why I just say try not to leave them to their own devices. Be in the enrollment process with them. And also it's what you're also doing is creating a relationship with them, because as a leader, you're going to be continuing this relationship with them as they become a pet pro and sign up their sponsors and their people. And you want duplicatable behaviors. So you want to be like, hey, when you sign up your first person, I'll help you. Like now that you know how to do this, I'll help you do that. So I would just say that's why it's so important to be a part of the enrollment process with them. And I see some people nodding along saying that they do that. All right. Cool. Oh my gosh, you guys had a viral TikTok, 235. The Loudermilks are on fire. Well done, guys. Good job. So good. I'm just really proud of all of you. I hope you're like, and what's so exciting is, first of all, if somebody's watching these things and thinking like, why is that not happening for me? The key word that you're missing at the end of that sentence is yet. It will happen so long as you stay in the behaviors. And everyone had a different starting point. So if you literally started from ground zero, no social media presence, had never made a reel, like understand that you're putting in the muscle memory, you're putting in the habits, like be proud of yourself, but trust the process. You won't get results as soon as I talked about the popcorn analogy. When you open the door and you're like, why isn't it popping yet? You're disrupting the process. So stick with it. Your time is coming, I promise, but you have to be willing to be messy to start. So my friends that are in the comparison boat thinking something's wrong with you, literally nothing's wrong with you. I promise your time is coming. Stick with me. This is all about, remember, effort counts twice. So this is all about compounding your habits on the front end. And you guys, we are just like, this is right about this spot right now is when I typically notice people start to have their stories that they tell themselves take the wheel, in the sense of someone will say, it's been 45 days, nothing's happening, nothing will happen. And then I see them start to drop the behaviors and start to slow down. And then what happens? Well, they end up making that reality true, because you slow down the behaviors, you ensure that you're actually not going to get the results. And with this point, with other people that are like, it's not happening yet, but so long as I stay in the behaviors, it will compound. I'm telling you guys, out of the thousands of people I've coached, I find that the 45-day mark right around there is kind of like I don't know if I want to call it the purge, but it kind of is. That's when you're really tested. So if you're noticing like, gosh, this feels hard, this feels slow, I want you to notice like, this is just the testing ground. This is where we lean in, because we still got the other half to go. And we're still getting to the point where, remember that chart where it's like, it's so slow. And then boom, you hit the tipping point. Okay. So the tipping point comes at different times for everybody. Okay. I'm going to,
Kristen,
yeah.
what I love about that, just, give you a chance to see if there's any other comments too. But what I love about that is I think for individually, a lot of times we kind of assume we're the only one who feels this way. We're the only one. Everybody else is on that side of the fence, and I'm over here lonely on this side of the fence. Everybody else is having success and whatever, and I'm over here feeling like it's not working for me. And so I love that you pointed out that if anybody is feeling like, wow, I'm kind of on the fence on whether I'm going to keep putting in the effort because I'm not sure it's paying off. And that's exactly what Kristen is saying. Her experience has has shown that before. Like that's exactly how most people. So if you're feeling like that, probably a lot of people are feeling like that. And it's one of the reasons why when I asked for everybody's commitment at the beginning, I didn't just say, will you work full time for some number of weeks, or will you work full time for a week and see how it goes? Part of the equation is working full time for 90 days. And that's why I started out by saying, so proud of you guys, so happy for you guys, so excited for you guys. And I just wanted to kind of underscore that, that Kristen mentioned, that it's totally natural, normal, understandable if anybody's going, wow, this is a lot, and I'm not sure that the lot is worth the amount that I'm getting out of it yet. That is normal. That is
Totally
by
normal.
design. That is what an investment is. You invest now for something later. And our belief is after 90 days, you'll see enough of the payoff that you'll want to keep going, but at least get to the 90 days to see, is there a payoff? Do I see a future that has something much better for me and much more exciting for me than if I hadn't done this? So just wanted to underscore that, Kristen.
Yeah. And to piggyback on that, I would even say, if you make the payoff only the outcomes in your paycheck, then what you are doing is devaluing who you are becoming in the process. That has value. That has merit. You becoming somebody who says, you know what? I made an intention. I followed through on my word to myself. I showed up. I became a person of discipline. I built new habits. So even then, you have to find value in the process. And that's when I notice people do give up, is when they overvalue the outcome and undervalue the process. Because in the beginning, you have to place all the value in the process, because again, remember, we have leading indicators and lagging indicators. Your leading is the activity you put in. The lagging is the results you get out. And there's almost always and I will say in social selling, especially, a 60 to 90 day delay from your efforts both ways. So let's say this, because this will happen. I have people, this is why I don't want you guys to be treating this 90 days like a crash diet and be like, and then when I get to the end of 90 days, I'm going to relax. I'm going to check out for a while. Maybe what you are doing is you're robbing yourself of all your compounding efforts, and that's not sustainable. I think you're going to, this is why I'm talking so much. And someone asked a great question. I'm going to get to this about how to work some of these habits more sustainably. And I teach this in my programs, but with this idea of, if going with the end goal in mind, if you're like, I just need to do this for 90 days, tells me you're only doing this for the outcome and not here to condition yourself to build habits that sustain you beyond 90 days. I want you to see the 90-day power pack as a milestone in your lifelong journey as an entrepreneur, not a finish line. Because I find when we have the finish line mentality, as soon as we get there, we're like, all right, I'm going to take a break. And this is what happens. I'm going to tell you what happens. My friends that see it as a milestone, they stay in the habits. And what they actually start noticing is the compounding efforts start really compounding with time. I really like that the Loudermilk said that they've been doing their TikTok for 4 years. It wasn't their first TikTok that got 235,000 views. It was 4 years of figuring it out, but now they're reaping the compounded return on their efforts and being like, all right. And guess what happens? Once you have one reel that goes viral, it starts you get a flood of people, and then all their other content that went overlooked for years is suddenly getting visibility by all these people that came. So their content that they made a year ago that got very minimal engagement, when they were like, wow, we didn't get a lot of engagement. Guess what's being seen now? By fresh eyes, by their target market. This is the compounding return. But imagine if they're like, all right, I'm going to try this TikTok thing for 90 days. And then they quit. They wouldn't be here today. So with those viral reels. And not only that, so what I notice is people that have the milestone mentality or the finish line mentality, they take a break. And what happens is, and especially if they see momentum, they're like, cool. And for some reason, I notice they stop doing the behaviors that got them the results to begin with. They think, cool, I've arrived. This is great. It's kind of like dieting to your goal weight and then going back to your old habits and being like, cool, I lost 30 pounds. I'm going to go celebrate with cake. I'm going to stop moving. It's like, no, 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 no. You have to stay in the habits to keep the results of those habits. And this is when I see people, they slow down on the habits, and there's usually a 60-day delay that they'll be able to reap some of the compounding rewards, and then they slow down. And guys, like clockwork, these are the same people that are like, I was doing really good, but all of a sudden my paycheck really started to slow down and things started plateaued. And I always ask them, well, let's rewind 90 days. What happened? And they're like, oh, you know what? That was soccer season with my kids. I was busy chauffeuring. I didn't really I didn't put business hours and time for my business. It kind of like took the back seat for a bit. I'm like, cool. This is your compounding interest on the results that you didn't want. You guys, know this. You are always compounding your habits. It's just whether you like the result of those habits or not. For example, weight gain is a compounded result from a lot of decisions to sit down, overeat, not make nutritious. It's not one cupcake that makes you overweight. It's all these decisions. Just like being at a healthy weight, it's the same thing. All the decisions, it's not one salad that you lose weight. It's not one time to the gym. It's compounding. So guys, just know every result you have in your life is because of compounding habits either way, compounding bad habits or compounding good habits. All right. So I want to answer this question that Christy had because it's a great question. She said, I'm new to using social media personally. I'm not someone who spends time scrolling. In some ways, that's a great thing. Good. Means that's not where you waste time. You probably waste it elsewhere. We all waste time. That is a foreign concept to me. I'm trying to figure out how to build it into my daily routine. If I post something, when should I check back for comments or likes? Should I be checking several times a day to engage? Thanks for your help. Okay. Christy, this is so key. Everyone, listen. The most important time for you to engage and talk to people, meaning there's the post that you've created, right? And then there's the conversations you just liking, commenting. I demonstrated this last week when I talked about like the rabbit hole of leads. I showed that. Is right before you post, about 15 minutes before you post, and then 15 minutes after you post. Why? Because if you just go on and put up the post and get off the platform, you are actually punished on the platform because you're not being social on social media. So I would say if you're posting, you budget time around the post. You say, all right, and I teach this in the hub. I teach about batch work. So I'm like, all right, sit down and write 5 posts for the week, all in one sitting, because that's where your brain is. It actually goes faster if you do it all at once. You get those ready. And then when you sit down to do your post today, you pull the post you already did. You get ready and you talk to people, you post it, you talk to people. What this does on the social platforms is it rewards you. It says, well, Linda's being social. We're going to make sure that the people she just talked with see what she just put up. Okay. So you have to build this. And I would encourage you, Christy, I don't know if you watched the rabbit hole of leads last week. I would encourage you to sit down 1 hour a week. And you guys, you committed to full-time work. And I'm usually like in the hub, I'm usually teaching like, hey, here's what to do with your part-time hours. I would spend 1 to 2 hours a week strategically prospecting with scrolls. I would sit down and be like, all right, here's the groups I'm going to source from. I'm going to go into pet groups. I'm going to look at these hashtags and I'm going to sit down. And the goal of this is for me to get 15 new names that I'm going to add, actually in an hour, I'm like 60 new names that I'm going to strategically be in conversations with, engage, like their comment all through this week. I'm all about front loading your work. Okay. And I would say with responding, guys, if you're just constantly picking up your phone, like every time you get a ping, ping, nobody in your family is going to like you. Your friends aren't going to like you. You're not going to be a present person. So I would just say, have a time during the day where you pick your phone up and you have a 30-minute time block and you're like, I'm going to respond to every comment, every post, every message in this block. I'm going to make it efficient. Right. And so I will say, when we say like, if somebody's interested, and like, if you're like, well, Kristen, what if somebody's interested and do I just leave that unread? I promise you, same day response is still swift for somebody who is interested. So I don't want you to feel like you are constantly dealing with a Pavlovian response every time your phone pings. You're like, what's that? What's that? What's that? What's that? We don't need that. I want you to be grounded business owners that understands your business hours. Okay. That'd be like me checking my inbox every 10 minutes. That becomes very inefficient in my day, where it's like, I'm going to check my inbox in the morning. I'm going to check it in the evening. Right. So batching that time. Christy, I hope that answered your question. Where are you at, Christy? I like to see faces I'm talking to. Christy
I've got
Diaz.
the sunflower behind me, Christy.
Where? Hold on. There you are. Oh, Christy. Okay. Does that answer
On
your
my
question?
screen, she's literally right next to you, but of course it's all different. But I'm like,
It's all
"There she
different.
is."
Yes.
That's the last part, because I don't get that many comments, so it's not a good use of time to be looking constantly. My husband will say, like, you've got to
Yeah.
comment. Oh, 2 days later, I'm commenting on my post. So I'll do a time block to look once a day.
Yes. And then does it make sense with like the strategic sit down? This is when I'm going to, it's not passive scrolling. It is strategic market research. Like passive scrolling is like, right. That's like, I would say that's like watching TV. Our brain is not present, but does it make sense what I explained with the
Yes, I did your 7-day
content to
C2C.
conversation? Yeah. C to C.
Yes. And so you taught that, like, interact, engage, like on other people's posts, like there's always something to find.
Yep.
And at the end, after I post, there's always something to find. But on my own personal ones, as I'm building up to get comments, I'm like,
Yeah.
how do I do that? So I'm good now. Thank you.
Yes. You're very welcome. Okay. Cool. I would like to, with our last like about 20, 15-ish minutes before I hand it over to Roger, back to Roger. Well, let me answer Heather's question here. And then I want to cover another obstacle. If there is an obstacle where you're like, this activity I keep getting hung up on, or this has come up, because here's the thing, guys, everything's theory until there's implementation of the theory. And then once we have applied, then everything's just knowledge until we have applied knowledge. And then when we're actually applying it in real time, then we have questions. So if there's so I want to help you with that if there's something that's not showing up. Okay. What about showing products? Do you show the labels? Absolutely. How do you drop links to make sure they use yours? I think that might be insider talk where you guys have your own unique links. I don't know what that is, but you can copy and paste your unique link. And this is, guys, this is where your magic is of this in your stories. Now, on your personal Facebook profile, you can share your link in the comments. You cannot share it in the post, okay? Because that's only done on business accounts. Remember, we're building your personal profiles because that's where you have the most exposure and visibility on average to start with, okay? So that should help. But yes, don't be afraid to, and you guys have beautiful packaging. Do not be afraid to show the labels. You guys have like, I was so impressed, you guys, by many things, Pottery, but when I was at your Paw Fest, I was like, this is really, I think I leaned over to Tammy. I was like, your packaging's really beautiful. I love it. She's like, we just did a rebrand. I was like, well, it's amazing. So don't be afraid to show that. Okay. Is batch work also effective with the business pages as well as the personal profile? Yes. Yes. I'm always just like, where is the larger portion of your audience? That is where your primary time goes first. So that's what you want to leverage is like, where do I have the most eyeballs? Okay. All right. Lisa asked, I struggle with doing stories. I'm home alone all day and not much going on. This is your story. Not much going on. It's what you've assumed is people is going to think your life is boring. And you're like, nobody wants to see this. Nobody wants that. Remember, all I talked about was like, what are your daily, Lisa, where are you at? I'm going to coach you up, girl. Where are you at? Unmute yourself. Lisa Nakab and Ke. Where are you at? Can you unmute yourself? No? All right, Lisa, then I'm just going to talk to you and give you some ideas. All right. This is where I just want you to log your day. Just write down your day. What do I do when I wake up? I journal. I feed my cat. I wipe down the counters in my kitchen. I make my coffee. Where are you at? Lisa, do I hear you now?
I'm trying. Yeah, my internet is like, I'm so frustrated right now because I'm missing 98% of this. And I'm like, I need this so badly.
Well, I think you'll have the replay available to you in your portal. Okay.
Yes, it will be coming today via email. So everybody will have the replay of this entire thing. But yes, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So Lisa, I just want you to inventory your day. I want all of you. I want you to inventory your day from beginning to end. And all you're doing is just documenting your life. It's kind of weird. You might be like, nobody cares. You guys, some of the most viral videos on the internet are like, are video blogs of like, get ready with me blogs of like, here's a day in the life. And it's like ASMR, which is just like amplified sounds of like putting ice in a cup, screwing the lid on. Like people are posting viral reels of reorganizing their fridge, for goodness sake. And someone could have been like, my fridge is boring. No one wants to see this. People are weird. People want to see everything. I don't know what it is, but the world, the internet has a fascination with peering into somebody else's life, no matter how boring you think it is. So your job, if any of you have been struggling with your stories, I want you to inventory your day. That's all your content. But your brain has just told you nothing's going on. It's boring. I don't care. Like you might be a ninja at fast, convenient meals, and everyone else and somebody else out there is like, I hate dinners. I don't know how to do. I'm always struggling. And if you were to just share, hey, part of what gets me by every day is I have this meal hack. I'm going to share it with you. And you have no idea if that reel will go viral because apparently everybody else has the same thought. And they're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is so great. Great. Now you just brought a ton of people in who are going to keep watching your stories. And then you're going to, as you go on to the next story, it's going to be like, and here's me feeding my cat. And here's me doing this. Some people really want a boring life. Can I offer that? Like some people are like, my life is too stressful. Your life looks nice. How can I have a boring life? Well, you want a quiet, calm, not much going on life. I work from home. I work with pottery and it suits my life. It suits my lifestyle. Perfect. Introverts unite. Do you see how this can serve? Okay. Sandy, my days are pretty slow and boring, but I just record it anyways. Today I talked about my dog's poop. Yes, there you go. Right? I love it. People are weird. Might as well get weird with them. All right. Any other questions that you have specifically about how to get people to the PBO? And again, I want to encourage you, follow up with people, the people you've been having conversations with. Every new pet pro, you need to invite them there. Even if they're like, I don't know yet, be like, come on, it's okay if you don't have anybody. I just want you to be excited about this vision. And I want to help you get people here next time, but don't underestimate the value of it. Every single new pet pro, get them there. Every new customer, be like, hey, you've shared with me how excited you are with the products. I saw that you've been really thrilled with it. Have you considered enjoying your products for free? Guys, it's that simple. How would you like to enjoy your pet pro or your pottery? Goodness, you guys have so many jargons. I'm like pet pro, paw pro, paw fest. How would you like to get your pottery products paid for? It's that simple. And they'll be like, wait, what? I can get it paid for? Yeah, it's amazing. Just doing what I do. You just tag people. And I think it was, oh shoot, I'm not remembering her name. I chatted with her first, but she got in conversations, tagged people in the video. You guys, the video's there. You don't have to wait for the next PBO. Be like, hey, I'm excited. This is great. Are you interested? Cool. As soon as you have a moment, let me know. I'm going to tag you in this video and I'm going to follow up with you right after you watch it. Oh, cool. What questions do you have? Guys, it's duplicatable. Tell your people, oh gosh, you don't even have to be an expert. It's great. We just tag people on the video sells, and then you just help the and if you have questions signing them up, you just get in a conversation with me and I'll help do that. This is what is so important behind momentum, okay? Is making it simple. Simple is always duplicatable. It's when you think you need to be the expert, when you feel like you need to have your own slide deck after the PBO. It's when you feel like you need to have a long-winded conversation and verbally vomit all over them. That's when somebody, when there's that much intake, they're like, I could never do this because you just talked at me for 20 minutes and I'm not a pet professional. I'm just somebody who likes my dogs. Anybody can tag anybody in a video. Okay? You have to sell simple. It's so simple. So every single one of your customers, hey, checking in with you. You've been really happy. Do you have interested in enjoying your pet, oh my gosh, pottery? Guys, I'm also like on cold medication right now. So I'm like a little fuzzy. How would you like your pottery products paid for? Okay. No one's going to be upset being like, hey, would you like something for free? No one's going to turn you down in this economy. No one's going to turn you down. Okay. All right. Once I've sent personal invites to the PBO, can I also share as a post to hopefully get those I least expect interested? Absolutely, friends. In your every day, the week before a PBO, your stories need to talk about the PBO. The day of the PBO, you need to still talk about it in your stories. Go live, make a post, and send a follow-up to every person. Every person that had already said yes, you're sending them a reminder about, right after this call, send your reminders out. So excited to have you there. Here's what we're doing. Guys, I can't begin to tell you, like, it's so important. The follow-up game is everything. The follow-up game is absolutely everything. So yes, make that post because you will always be surprised who might show. To clarify, post and stories only? No, also on your feed. Post on your feed, right? You've been working so hard to get visibility to your feed for people to see. So capitalize on that visibility because only 5% of your audience sees your stories. Now, that's not bad. It means they're the most interested 5%, but to not post on your main feed, we lose out on 95% of visibility with people that you've been working really hard to talk with. So you absolutely need to make a post. I would encourage you also to not post a graphic as the post, a Canva graphic, a marketing graphic, because it reads as an advertisement and they will scroll by. So post a picture of you and your dog, show your face, show an excited face, like so excited for tonight, got a good thing going. Have a caption on the picture that says like, when you know you're onto something good, so that people are like, ooh, what's this post about? And then in the comments, you can post the details or you could post the graphic and say, DM me for the link, DM me for info. Don't just put the link out there because you want to make sure, because if you just post the link out there, you're not sure who to follow up with and who to expect at the call. So be like, DM me for the link, DM me to get your invite, or message me to get your invite. So happy to have you, right? So good. I'm seeing any other questions. Yes. And again, Tammy mentioned this, like I talked about tips for next week. So if you need a refresher, watch it. They have it. I think she posted at the beginning of this call where you can find that. So friends, like again, every PBO is an opportunity to cash in on all the compounding conversations you've had up until this point. And remember, your conversations are not done tonight. What you were doing all week long after is you're closing the conversation. What did you think? Were you able to get there? Oh, you weren't. No problem. Let me tag you in the video and we'll have a conversation. Do you have 5 minutes to catch up over coffee? Don't let somebody who said they were interested Bless me. Don't let somebody who said don't let somebody who said they were interested disappear. Don't do that, right? They were interested for a reason. And yes, sometimes life happens. Yes, sometimes kids get in the way and they're unable to make it. Let them, if guys, take an attendee, being like, who's here? And anybody who didn't make it, say, I missed you tonight. I hope you were okay. So sorry you weren't able to make it. If you have 5 minutes later on, I'll tag you in the video, or we can just have a brief conversation on our own. Okay? But don't be like, oh, don't think they didn't show, they didn't want it. That's not the case. That's not the case. I like Mike Loudermilk because he's always like nodding with me, and I always feel very smart when, when I'm talking. I'm like, he knows what's up. I do very well with an interactive audience.
Right on, right on.
I'm like, see, he knows they do this. Cool. Does anybody else have any obstacles? I've got time for one more that I can help you overcome to stay in the action or get back into the action. If you have stumbled, we are not going to play the shame game. We get back up. Okay. You might fall 7 times. We get back up 8. So if you are somebody where you're like, Kristen, life happened and I understand life happens and you need a word to help you get back up and pull yourself up by the bootstraps and see that there's still so much potential ahead of you, I'd like to coach you. We get back into action. Life happens, get back up. If that's anybody, you can just like comment, be like, that's me. Okay. How do I make a connection? Karen, this is like in a bunch of my in our prior chats. I would encourage you to watch last week's where I talk about like the rabbit hole of leads and connection. I even screen share. I show how to do it. Like this is how you talk to people, but really it's just work in the room. Amber Cook, you said that's me. Where are you at, girlfriend? Unmute yourself. Let me coach you up. And also thank you for being vulnerable. Thanks for being like, you know what? That's me. Let's go.
That's me. I'm having a midlife crisis.
You're having a midlife crisis. Where are you? Why can't I
Here.
see you?
Sorry.
Oh,
I'm driving.
Okay. No problem. All right, Amber, tell me why and this is really good. This is for anybody like who has a team. This is going to happen on your team too. Somebody on your team is going to have a midlife crisis, and you as a leader need to know how to encourage them in a season like this, because what happens is oftentimes I find, and Amber, I don't know if you could relate to this, but oftentimes I find when I fall below my own expectation of performance, it's very easy to want to hide and be like, oh, or have like the I'm starting over mentality, like everything I did was a waste leading up to this. So first of all, we're already conquering some shame because you're choosing not to hide. But Amber, what I'm gonna ask you is like, tell me why you decided to do the power pack. What made you want to do this particular thing? What made you decide I'm going all in?
I see Roger's dream. I see what it can be, and I've kind of like I don't want to say stalked, but I followed you on social media for a while. And then when I heard you were going to PopFest, I was like, oh, this is awesome. I can dive into PopFest. I was still in my fast start at PopFest, and I was like, and Kristen's going to be there. And then hearing everything you had to say was really just, it was reaffirming everything that I believed in. And coming from very humble beginnings and building my own business in the holistic world of pet grooming, it just made sense. And I have looked at Pottery for probably the last 3 years. I've talked to them at different expos. I've researched it, and I'm like, this is everything that I am taking the raw products and physically compounding for my clients as a holistic healthcare professional and holistic groomer. And this company is already doing it for me. It's here.
Yeah. So why the power pack though? What made you like, what about this? What about the power pack? Were you like, I need that?
I wanted the accountability, and I wanted to be a part of something, and I want to see it become everything that it can be. And I'm here for it. I want to do it. I want to go with this. I want to grow and blow up with Pottery.
Okay.
And it felt like the right thing to do.
Yeah. So life happened. It didn't go the way you thought it would in here. You've had some disruptions. I want you to tell me, what can you do today?
Well, today I'm going to hopefully get back on posting.
Hopefully,
went
or
from
are
being
you going
very-
to? Hopefully, or
I'm
are you
going to.
going to?
I'm going to. I'm going to be preparing for the hurricane that's going to be hitting us. So tonight I'm going to have a lot of time, and I'm going to get back on everything and use it. You know, I've had a pity party long enough, and I'm ready. I'm ready to get normalcy back, and I'm ready to thrive and not just survive.
I want you to write down what you are going to have accomplished by the end of tonight. Be like, this is my line in the sand. This is what my reentry looks like. I will have 1 post posted. I will have 3 posts drafted for me to post later this week. I will do, like, I just want you to write down 3 things, because a lot of times what we do is when we feel like we're behind, we tend to overcompensate. We make such a big list where our brain actually shuts down and then we do nothing. So I want you to write 3 things that you're going to accomplish. And what I notice is that objects in motion, stay in motion, right? So if you just get those 2 or 3 things done, you're going to be able to find yourself back in momentum. And then you're like, all right, cool. So things didn't go the way I thought, but I got back up and I got back in the game.
Sounds like a plan. Goals.
Because remember, this isn't about the 90 days. This is about building habits as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. There's no
I
start
needed that.
over.
Thank
We
you.
keep going. Yes, you're so welcome. Thanks for letting me speak to you and coach you up. Like, we got you. We got
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well done, Amber. And be safe. Be safe. All right, cool. I'm actually going to pass it over to Roger. I will see you guys at the PBO tonight. I'm excited. Do your follow-up. Roger, I'll let you take it from here.
Sounds good. Thanks, Kristen. I hope what you guys remember out of this and coming to this meeting every week. I mean, there's always so many actionable things. And one of the things that I just really respect about you, Kristen, and what you bring to us every week is actionable insights. And I've said this multiple weeks, but if you are feeling stuck that you're not doing the right actions, or you don't know what to do or how to do it, this is your place to get that feedback. And I feel like every week, Kristen has some very tangible, very actionable insights that can help us invest the time wisely. Because it's one thing to invest the full-time commitment that you all have said that you're willing to do for 90 days. It's another thing to invest it in the right areas and putting your time where it matters, and not getting stuck playing office or thinking you're working on your business when you're not. And I think every single week there have been actionable things. So I hope that you take away every week we get together. I hope you have something in a big black Sharpie or whatever, in a colorful Sharpie, that you write on your forehead so that you see it every time you go in your mirror, onto the mirror. This is what I'm to do, right? This is what I'm feeling compelled to do that will drive my business forward, so that the hours you're investing in your pottery business are well invested and not just spent and scraped off, because there's plenty of things we can do to play office and not move the needle. Kristen gives wonderful advice every single week on what to do to move the needle. And if you're ever in doubt, go into that spreadsheet. We've got the 5 columns that we color coded in green. I mean, those are the key actions. Those are all income producing actions. Those are all things that can lead to conversations. I wanted to just, in the 30 seconds I have, I'm pulling up the spreadsheet. I won't screen share just in the interest of time. You guys all have it. But there are 5 at the top, columns G through K, and right smack in the middle, column I, says how many new prospect conversations this week. And the goal in parentheses is 10 per day minimum goal. And I remember when we first talked about that, some people were like, holy cow, 10 new prospect conversations per day. And when Kristen helped walk us through how do you engage in those conversations and what constitutes the conversation. We spent a lot of time on this last week. What you realize is working full time, like these don't take an hour each, right? And working full time to get 10 new conversations in a day is a very realistic goal and one that drives your business forward. So I wanted to highlight that metric because I do see some are achieving that 10 per day minimum goal. Many are not. And I give you guys all the credit for being transparent with your results and putting it in there so that you can track it and you can know where you're at. And if it's not 10 per day, that's okay. But my invitation to you as you think about preparing for the PBO tonight, that's all about prospect conversations. As you think about following up, that's all about prospect conversations. As you think about using social media as a tool to be authentic and reach out to people and engage, that's all about conversations with new prospects. I really hope that you'll key in on that metric this week. And I'd love to see when we come back next week, that metric increase for all of you. Whatever you are doing, that it's more next week than it was this week. And hopefully at least 10 new conversations a week, per day, sorry, for the whole week. So with that, you guys, I hope you'll all be on tonight. Last week, we set a record for PBO last month that Kristen was there 2 weeks ago. We set a record for PBO attendance. I think it was 198 people. I fully expect to blow past 200. So I really hope you guys are there in yourselves. You bring every new person that you've brought in the last several months. I hope you've got prospects on that Zoom, and I really can't wait to see what that can do to help explode your business. So have a wonderful evening. Kristen, thanks for all your time as usual. Knock it out of the park tonight, and we'll see you guys all next Tuesday.
Thanks, Roger. Thanks, Kristen. Take care. Have a great day.